Hey, I ain't done one of these in a minute, but one of the fun stats that I stumbled upon, clutch time minutes, right? Not points. We're not talking about usage percentage, but in the clutch time, the leader for total blocks in clutch moments is none other than Scottie Barnes. Showtime. Welcome back to another episode of the Corner 3. We are back. The last episode of 2025. Shout out to everybody that's been rocking with us in 2025. We appreciate y'all. We got a whole lot more coming in 2026. Basketball Intelligence newsletter. Make sure y'all subscribe. Check them out. If you love basketball, that's the place to be. Fellas, how y'all doing?
Good man, good.
Hey, we need to go ahead and get the Patreon rolling or buy me a coffee link so that we can get Tone a propane heater for the for the fourth dudes up holding a mic like this. I know he cold. The New Jersey winters, they're unforgiving. So if anybody else out there feels like donating to the corner three, we need to get Tone
A
a
big
proper
tall
space
space
heater.
heater. Big tall
Yeah.
space heater for Tone.
Hey, nah, it's cool, man. This will be a part of the conversation, part of the journey where we make it, quote unquote, make it. Hey, Tone was recording on a cold porch. He was blowing his hands in between takes. Like this, it just be a part of the story right there. It'd be great to tell when we get an interview. Like, yo, how was it at the beginning for y'all? Hey, Tone was committed.
Hey,
One
I'm
more question.
recording. I'm basically recording in my laundry room, so I get it.
I'm
I got
recording.
the
I'm
I,
recording in my son's room.
I got the dryer rolling right now. Hopefully y'all can't hear it. So
Hey, that's great. That's great. That's a great mic because don't nobody hear no dryer going right now at all.
shout out to Cupertino. These AirPods,
Hey,
they work magic.
so anything that y'all take away from that stat that I mentioned about Scottie Barnes and how he's been playing in general as this year? Like he had a game, believe it was against the Warriors, 25 rebounds. Dang, Scottie.
I I just think he's sort of coming into his own. The Raptors don't get a lot of press. They don't get a lot of national TV time. But for those of us who frequent league pass and have paid attention to the Raptors since he's been on the team, I mean, can sort of chart out the trajectory. And I think this year he's taking it up a level. But he's always been an impact player on defense specifically, but also his offensive game I think is a little underrated as well. So I'm not surprised. I'm just happy to see it. Yeah,
I think it's more of a byproduct of spacing and everything with the team. So I said when they made the trade for Ingram, I wasn't sure how it worked, but it's working. So shout out to them.
And shout out to what's working over there over in Denver. That man Nikola Jokic is probably having, which is a wild thing to say after being a multiple time MVP winner, might be having his best season ever. One of the most durable players that we've had over the last decade or so in the NBA. Unfortunately, he comes down with an injury. He's out for, they said, at least 4 weeks. Are the Nuggets, do you feel, with some of their additions that they added in the offseason, how they've been playing without Jokic, when we talk about the non Jokic minutes, way better this year? Do you think they'll be able to weather the storm with Jokic out, or should they be concerned over there in Denver? Rush, what's your thoughts on it?
well, I think anytime you lose an All NBA, All World really player, there's reason for concern. And anytime you already have injuries to a Christian Brown, Aaron Gordon, and more recently Cam Johnson, there's even more reason. You would just compound the concern, right? So the on-off minutes or the on-off performance for the Nuggets when he sits is encouraging. Obviously, those are stints, right? Those aren't entire games. So it's encouraging that the team can play well when he sits. But anytime you're talking about replacing 29 points, what is it, 12, 11 rebounds, 11 assists, 1,000% true shooting, like it's just hard to replace. You can't replace it. Now, I think one thing we have to look at is the schedule. And I think I don't have it in front of me, but I think that depending on the schedule, they can probably eke out some wins and maybe stay close to around 500 while he's out. But I don't know. It's a relief that it was only a hyperextension and he's only going to miss a month. But it could be a little uncomfortable in Denver right now for sure with all the injuries they have.
Yeah, it's a lot of injuries piling up over in Denver. So we'll see what happens with that. It'll be very interesting, especially with the teams in the West, to see what it does in the standings. I know it'll definitely hurt his MVP case, which he was having an MVP case up until this point. Jarrett, one of the things that was asked on our threads from our peoples, the people that rock with the corner three, they asked, like, hey, has there been any takes, any predictions that you had preseason that now you may want to take a couple steps back? Have you had any different opinions from what we've seen so far in the season? Has your opinions, thoughts on anything so far, teams or players, changed?
For one, the Celtics. I think a lot of people thought the Celtics would be one of the worst teams in the league, a lottery team, with the absence of Tatum, the moves that the Celtics may have given up Holiday, Porzingis, Horford. But they're looking great right now. Like, I'm really surprised in how they've been playing. Jaylen Brown's been looking like an MVP candidate. Derek White, he's taking it up a new level. And then the other players on the team, I guess you could call them like but Shaq says the people on the back of the bus, whatever he says. But they're looking really good right now. Jordan Walsh is looking pretty good coming out the G League. I think, honestly, I don't know how far they're going to go playoff-wise, but it's actually a good sight to see, like, having these players come before, developing before our eyes and still producing wins for a team that we all thought would be bottom of the barrel. So, but does that mean Tatum should come back this year? Not sure. Don't want him to, rush his recovery to, try to maximize this season's potential and probably just hold off until next season. But it's good to see that they have some type of depth with, missing all those players that we already know that would have a big impact if they would have stayed with the Celtics.
Hey, before Rush goes, two things real quick. Jarrett is being a great job what he's doing right there, making a general statement as the mass media did not see the Celtics doing what they did, but somebody on the screen that has purple and yellow on that did see them being a top 16, but that's neither here nor there. And to your point, I think that's kind of a bad take by Shaq, calling people the back of the bus. I had this conversation with Jess in New York, like, Rosa Parks fought for us to be able to sit in the back of the bus. So it ain't that bad to be in the back of the bus. But that's just my opinion. Rush, any takes that you had preseason that, might be looking a little sketchy now, might be on the freezing cold take side?
I don't know. I still feel good about my finals picks. I had Thunder Knicks. And even though San Antonio, everyone's calling San Antonio OKC's kryptonite, and they've looked really impressive against OKC this season, OKC's still the champs until somebody beats them in the playoffs. So I feel good there. Honestly, and I'm gonna sound like a total homer, and I don't care. But I'm gonna say what I'm saying anyway. A lot of people, a lot of pundits, a lot of social media NBA experts had the Lakers not even in the playoffs, not even a play-in team.
Wow.
They said the Lakers weren't going to be, whatever. And so far, they're a top 14. Peaked at the second seed, all while dealing with injuries to their top three players at various points. So I'm actually, even though we just got smoked 3 out of the last 4 games. And we just won our first non-clutch game in almost a month a couple of days ago. All that notwithstanding, I think the Lakers are actually in a really good spot, considering the lack of bench depth, considering LeBron missed the first 15 games of the season, considering Luka missed a handful of games, considering AR has missed a handful of games and now will be out for about 3 more weeks. All things considered, I think JJ Redick's done actually a pretty good job. They're winning the games that, for the most part, they're winning the games that they're supposed to win, which they didn't always do last year. And that's something that gets lost. People say, oh, they had a cupcake schedule. I was like, yeah, but they were losing more of these games than they should have last year. So I appreciate that carryover in terms of handling business, beating the teams you're supposed to beat. That way, when you have these 2-game losses, 3-game loss streaks, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt as much because you've taken care of business before you get to this point. So I'm going to say my Lakers are playing a lot better than most people thought that they would. They have some glaring holes. They need a trade, probably 2. We'll see what Rob does or doesn't do, but all things considered, I think the Lakers Lakers Nation should actually feel relatively good about where they are and how they've been playing.
Has any players shocked you where you're up into what we've seen so far? Is like, I didn't see that happening.
Yeah, I didn't see Detroit being at the top of the East. I knew the East was wide open, and I knew that they would be like in the top half of the standings, but I didn't expect them to do what they've done, especially like in clutch situations. I think Griff put up a stat today or the day before, like when games are within 10 points, they have like a leading win-loss record in the league, top 3 or 4, I think. I can't remember exactly. So that's been impressive. The Celtics, of course, they've been playing really well. They had the most recent longest winning streak in the league, active winning streak in the league. Jaylen Brown's been phenomenal. And I think that was one of the things we talked about preseason, right? Was like, he's got to be the guy who's got to step up. He's a guy who's going to have a lot of pressure on him because he's got the big contract. He won the finals MVP over Tatum. So people were going to be like, all right, Tatum's not here. Let's see what you can do. Brother's been balling. Demo's probably going to find this and clip it. I don't care. I'm going to give dude his props. He's been hooping, and at least I don't have green on. So Jaylen Brown's been hooping. Shout out to Joe Mazzulla. He's done an incredible job, especially with that roster that they've retooled. Toronto's been impressive. They got off to a bit of a slow start, and then they had that streak. So yeah, I mean, there's, we're kind of in the point of the season where teams are going to start to sort of separate between now and teams are going to start to look to make some changes once pretty much all the league becomes trade eligible in about 3 weeks. So yeah, I would say those are my things that sort of stand out from the preseason.
Okay, so to hit that rewind button, we talked about the Lakers, and that kind of was on the rundown of what's wrong with the Los Angeles Lakers. Based on what you said, though, do you feel like it's kind of Lakers Nation, Lakers fans being Lakers fans and panicking, or is there something that you really feel that is wrong with the Lakers? Because, we've seen it all over it. JJ Redick, they don't respect him as a coach. The players don't do this, that, and the third. Luka's defense is terrible. Like, it was a lot of discourse.
I mean, a lot of this is just what comes with the territory of being a Los Angeles Lakers fan. And a lot of it just comes with the territory surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers. There's a lot of overreaction when they're winning and when they're losing, right? I mean, we don't get called the most insufferable fans for no reason. So there's a lot of overreaction both ways. I think a lot of the stuff that's come up recently, I'll put it this way. We've all played basketball at different levels, right? And we've all been in locker rooms. And we all probably at one point or another have been in a locker room where there's a coach that didn't have the full respect of the locker room, didn't have the locker room completely bought in, or we may have been in locker rooms where the coach had it, but then lost it based on any number of factors. So I kind of know what a coach having lost his team looks like from at a much lower level. But a lot of the retired pro players that are saying it, they played multiple years in the league and they've probably seen it at a higher level. So I think if Kenyon Martin, however you feel about Kenyon, if Kenyon Martin is saying it and Kendrick Perkins is saying it and some other people are saying it, there may be some smoke or there may be some fire where there's smoke. But I don't put a lot of stock in it right now. I think JJ's fine. I think, coming in as a rookie coach, no coaching experience, winning 50 games, getting the third seed, even though it was a tightly contested Western Conference. I think these are things that are sort of building his credibility and building his resume so that he can get respect from his team. So I don't think he's lost the locker room, long story short. And I think everybody knew Luka had some shortcomings on the defensive end of the basketball court. I think the biggest thing with him is effort and making sure that he's in the right spots when it comes to coverage and rotations. He's got to be better. I think that's just flat out. And again, they don't have the deepest bench. Like the fact that they've won as many games as they have, I mean, is a testament to Luka and AR early in the season and JJ's coaching. So a lot of it is just noise. And then once you get past Detroit, I think we've got a game against San Antonio, a couple of tough games. But this next stretch of like a month, right up until the Grammy road trip, there's a lot of winnable games there. So, I think the Lakers will be fine. And I think a lot of it right now is just people sort of pouncing on a recent 3-game losing streak.
Hey, Jared, so I want to ask you this. One of the things that came up in the conversation, in the discourse on Threads, X, Instagram, TikTok, was Luka's defense, but also there were some people talking on, and I've seen some people paid millions to talk about sports, question LeBron's defense, which I think is, a little asinine at 41 years old. You're expecting him to play top tier defense, which speaks to his greatness. But I want to ask you this. Has LeBron ever truly been a lockdown defender in your eyes?
I feel like LeBron has his moments when he could turn it on, but at this point in his illustrious career, and first things first, happy birthday to LeBron. The fact that this guy is still doing it, we still having these conversations about him, and he just turned 41? Yeah, and this guy doing his thing, but like I said, he's 41. He should not be having to play top tier defense on a team that has a bunch of young athletes. Yes, I think it was a point in time we can consider LeBron a lockdown defender. People was scared to go to the basket I should say, had to look behind him on fast breaks when LeBron's on the court. And I'll never forget the time when it was 2 specific times I remember really saying like, all right, LeBron can lock down defense. The series with Miami against Chicago, when it was like Mario Chalmers was getting cooked by Derrick Rose all series, and then they made the switch and put Bron on him. Shut Derrick Rose water off completely. And then it was a few years ago. I don't remember what specific season it was, but he was on the Lakers. LeBron had a crazy stretch throughout like a week or two, where he was just locking down star players. Like he locked down Kawhi, he locked down Giannis, he locked down Harden, he locked down Paul George. Like just going at players and guarding them. And I'm like, yeah, like this is who Bron is. Like when he wants to turn it up. I think it was either the bubble year before COVID or the year after. I just don't remember completely what season it was. But yeah, still think he probably should have got that Defensive Player of the Year that one year when Marc Gasol got it. That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I definitely think that he was once a very revered defender.
Hey, that's perfect transition. Look at you. We just potting over here tonight. We are potting to end out 2025. He's a six-time all defensive player, but to Jarrett's point, he has not won a DPOY. Rush. Any thoughts on that? Because people try to use that against him, especially we're not going to have that debate. When they talk about the debate with him and MJ and him and Kobe, well, Bron don't got no DPOYs. Why do you think possibly somehow that Bron don't got a DPOY? Like, has he been robbed in his career?
Oh yeah, I think he got robbed, which I think is pretty universally, well, universally is probably not the word to use. Pretty widely accepted that he got robbed the year Marcus All won. Which is still sort of inexplicable to me, other than just like a protest vote. they just didn't want they didn't want to give it to him for whatever reason. You know,
Hold on. Quick question about that. That year, Marc Gasol got it. He was All NBA second team for defense, right?
and Bron was first, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm like, like, look, they didn't even try to be discreet with it. Like, this is out in plain sight. Like, just the robbery that took place. Um, I, I don't know. I think there's a lot of reasons why LeBron has never won the DPOI. One, it's a really tough award to win, I think. And I feel like it pretty predominantly goes toward big men, right?
Mhm.
So it's really hard for like wings and guards to win it to begin with. But I think honestly, we've been so wowed, maybe sports writers and pundits and journalists have been so wowed by just his offensive prowess, the way he passes the ball, the way he shoots the ball at a high clip, the dunks, like just all that. Just maybe a lot of his defensive impact has just been underrated for most of his career. But I got some tinfoil hat theories that I could throw out, but I don't want to. I don't do that. I don't want to mess. I don't want to muck up the pot. I'm saying I want us to stay something straight and narrow. So, but I do think he should have won the year Marcus Gasol won, and that's no disrespect to Mark. I just think LeBron was better that year.
Yeah, ain't no disrespect to Mark. Mark, no, he shouldn't have won that. He should be shipping it to his house and had his name etched into it. LeBron's name, that is. But I
You should
mean,
have done the Macklemore.
yeah,
You know when Macklemore won the what was it, the best the best rap album? You should have been like, hey, Bron, this is really yours. You should have won.
that's what he should have did. On the flip side, over and into it, doing right. Kawhi has cooked the Thompson brothers. I don't know if he got something against them, but between the two of them, man done dropped 96 points between the two of them. The man has the Clippers on a 4-game winning streak, 5-5. Is there any belief at all? Is there any belief at all that the Clippers are starting to figure this out some way and they'll get in as a playing team? Jared, you can start off. I could tell by your face you may not be in agreement.
No. Simple answer. No. They are too deep in the hole. Let me look at their record. They are currently
10 and
got
21.
10-21. Yeah, no, they're not making no playoffs. Kawhi is gonna, God forbid, he's gonna break down eventually. Like his tire is going to get a flat soon. So no.
On the complete opposite side of that, we talked about the Spurs. So the Spurs, right? Some say they're OKC's kryptonite. Some has said I've seen this conversation and I want to hear your opinion on it. And Rush, you can start it off. That the Spurs are actually frauds. Like they wake up for the bigger games. They wake up to go play OKC. They have the energy. It's the champs. Everybody wants to play the champs and play the best game possible. But then they lose games to the Jazz and they lose games to the Cavs. Are the Spurs real contenders, you feel, yet? Or, people got hyped because they beat OKC 3 times?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I don't think it's so much the fact that they beat OKC 3 times. I think it's how they beat them, and it's not like I think the game and the at the NBA Cup was close. The semis that was close, but the last 2 games were like margins of at least 10 points. It's 10 points and up. So it's not so much that they're beating them. It's just like they're you know definitively beating them. Like they're not just eking by. I think the average point of margin of victory for them in the 3 games is like 12.3 points. So I think that's not to be taken lightly. It is obviously really easy to get up to play the champs, right? Like that's one thing we've heard as long as we've been covering this league and been watching this game. Is like when you're the champs, no, you can't take a night off because everybody gets up for that game. Everybody has your game against them circled. I think what we're seeing is in San Antonio is just a young team that might be a little bit ahead of schedule. So you expect the letdown after a huge emotional and whatever other adjective you want to throw behind a win when they beat the Thunder. Yeah, there might be a little bit of a letdown. But I think the talent that they have is undeniable. And I think the way that they're such a matchup nightmare for OKC proves that if they get to the postseason and have home court advantage, like a top 4 seed, I think that they could contend. I put it out on the timeline. I said they look like they might be ready. And I don't have any intentions of walking that back. But I think we should expect them to have some head scratch losses because they are still a relatively young team, but the talent is definitely there. So no,
Jarrett,
I don't think they're frauds. I'll say.
Jarrett, would you say that you agree with Rush's take and what you've seen so far from the Spurs, or do you have some question marks with? Like I said, you lose games to the Jazz, the Cavs. Nobody expected that to happen.
No, I mean, they're second in the West. I mean, they're a top 4 team in the league. And the thing is with them losing to the Cavs. Cavs is still a good team. I mean, they've been hit with injuries mostly this season, but they were the number 1 seed last year. So when healthy, they can compete with anybody. And Utah, we know how Utah's been playing lately. Like we talked about the last few pods, how good Utah is starting to become. So, I don't think San Antonio are frauds at all. I just think they've dealt with their own injuries as well. Wemby's missed some time. They're basically their hub on both ends of the floor. So no, I think they're perfectly fine. I think people just like overreacting over small things. Plus, we still gotta remember this Spurs team is still relatively young. Like the oldest player in the team is probably Harrison Barnes, and he's like our age. So it's like they still have time to grow and develop. They still have time to make some noise. It's not like their window is closing right now. Like their window is probably not even open yet. So I think we should be actually really scared about what they're going to do in the playoffs. To be honest with you, because they're looking really good right now. Like in my opinion, like I'm actually a little surprised that they're this good already. Like I would think they would probably be a playing team, the highest at this point. But to be one of the best teams in the league is kind of scary. I think they're a little ahead of schedule.
Hey, Rush, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just was a Harrison Barnes is 33, so he might be y'all's age. He's
I'm 35, so he's younger than me.
He's a little younger than me. I'm in official unk territory, so he's a little younger than me.
Yeah, Harrison Barnes is older than me, so
How old are you?
32.
Y'all some young cats.
Hey, Rush, right? So with this
Yeah.
roster and how they, like Jared said, the window might not even be open yet. But one of the things I know is an issue that maybe they'll fix it at the trade deadline, pick up somebody off a waiver wire, somebody gonna get bought out possibly, is the shooting aspect. Them knocking down threes has been a concern. But with how they've been playing and them being a little bit ahead of schedule, right? Trade deadline obviously is coming up. You getting calls. You work for San Antonio. You're getting calls. Out of their point guards, Fox, Harper, Castle, which of those three are the untouchable prospects right there, the untouchable players that you're not picking up the phone for them at all out of those three?
All three of them.
I knew you.
Now, this is me moonwalking because I know I broached the question at the beginning of the season was like, how long till we start having a conversation about the guard situation in San Antonio? But I think it works. Right? It depends, and as long as Harper, I mean, he's a rookie, so you don't really care right now. But as long as he's bought into that 6 man role, the Ginobili role, and it just works that he's a shifty 6'5", 6'6" lefty. Um, I, I don't think you don't need to move off either one of them. Not right now, at least. Um, De'Aaron Fox is really good. De'Aaron Fox is all NBA caliber guard in this league, and I think a lot of people have one not known that because he played for Sacramento. Two may have forgotten that because he's kind of been a little dinged up. De'Aaron Fox is a talent, and they need De'Aaron Fox currently. Harper and Norcastle are ready to run the show. So, you got Castle wrecking havoc on defense, getting out in transition. The offense is looking good. The creating is looking good. Ball handling is getting tighter. Decision making can still get a little bit better, but leaps and bounds from where he was last year. Dylan Harper's looking like an absolute stud. If not for a recent Cooper flag breakout, I think he'd be a leading candidate for Rookie of the Year. So I don't think you look at any calls for any of them right now. I think you look at the buyout market. Maybe if there's a deal where you package a couple of guys like a Vassell, Barnes, maybe a Johnson, or Sokan. Maybe you look at that, but I'm putting all three of those guards in the vault. I'm not letting them out.
Hey, looking at trade deadline coming around the corner, people obviously on Threads have asked our thoughts on it. I'll say some names out there. You let me know if you think they're gonna get traded, and if it's not a name that I mentioned that you think could be on the move, please do share. Anthony Davis, we've been hearing a lot of buzz about him. Do y'all think Anthony Davis actually will be traded?
You want me to start? Will Anthony Davis be traded? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he'll be. Matter of fact, yes, I think he will definitely be traded this season. He should be traded this season. I think it's pretty evident that the Mavs should just scrap the whole thing, just focus on building around Cooper Flag, make him the guy. Don't try to beat around the bush with it. Basically, you got rid of Nico, so let's get rid of. I won't say all the players that he brought in, but let's get the bad stench off the franchise of the Luka situation. So that would mean trading Anthony Davis. Hey, send Clay back to Golden State if possible. Yeah, I mean, if the deal is right, you get some young assets, possibly some draft capital, some probably a young player as well for AD, which more than likely that will be the case. Yeah, I think they should definitely do it. The only thing is, will AD actually be able to take that team that he goes to the next level as far as being a contender due to health reasons, of course. When he's healthy, he's a top 10 player, but it's always the health issue with him, always damaged.
Yeah, I don't think you can ever truly move on from the Nico Harrison reign unless you get rid of Anthony Davis. You just can't. He's just like I had an analogy I was going to use, but I don't want to go there. But it's just it's just hard. Like you can't really move on because it's all, like every time you see Anthony Davis missing time, or anytime he has a bad game or doesn't perform, it's going to be reminded like, damn, Nico Harrison brought him here. We had Luka. Like, I just don't think the Dallas Mavs organization or the fans can have that cathartic moment until you really truly move on from the Nico Harrison era, and I think that involves trading Anthony Davis. And it seems like there's been a lot of chatter about him to Atlanta. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's going to be not nasty. That's going to be a lot of money, though. I think it's like 110 over the next 2 years. And then just imagine having to negotiate that extension, when it comes time. So it's like, I wouldn't want to deal with it, but I'm not a GM, so far be it from me. But yeah, I think you have to move him, honestly.
Staying in Atlanta, Trae Young. We've heard rumors about Trae for years now. Is this the year where we finally actually see Trae Young traded? And honestly, a two-part to it. Should they even consider trading him?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of noise out there, and it's not like a couple of one-off random Twitter account, rumors. Like, this has been like a sustained news cycle thing among like NBA podcasts and outlets and news reports. And that can only have just like a negative impact on a team and morale. And like we talked about a month ago, they didn't extend him this summer. I don't think there have been any extension talks since then. He's got a player option for like, what is it, 46, 49 million that he most certainly is going to opt into. Yeah, I think that the writing's been on the wall for that too. I don't know where he goes. I don't know who's going to take him. Maybe Sacramento. They're desperate. Maybe Brooklyn. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know where Trae fits if it's not Atlanta. But it seems like things are heading toward a divorce between the two.
Hey, next name we'll throw out there before we end off with our C3P Awards, which we are going to be doing every year that this podcast is in existence. Go through some of the awards. Every year it might be the same awards. It might be extended. We will figure out. This is the first year that we have the awards. But another name I'll throw out there that has been a part of the conversation is a man who probably would get an award for making sure that he stays full on food. Zion Williamson. Will Zion be traded, especially with how Derek Queen's been playing? I think we're seeing the change in the guard over in New Orleans.
Yeah, it might be time to get him out of there too.
Do you think anybody would trade for him though? With his injury history, we just talked about AD. Is anybody going to pick up the phone and call for Zion Williamson?
Yeah, definitely. Because we know what type of talent Zion is when healthy. Be honest with you, this could be a double-edged sword. But I've been saying this for a while. I think Miami will be the best situation for him as far as an organization, but it would probably not be the best fit for him as far as a city. So that's the double-edged sword behind it. But so with all the stuff I heard about Pat Riley in Miami, I think he will be fine if that's the case. Because Pat Riley runs the city, so people will keep him in check. But I definitely think a team will definitely take a chance on him. Like as good as Zion is when healthy, and he did drop the weight. I mean, I don't know what. I just think honestly, it's just New Orleans, man. Like I just think that their medical staff is just not good. Like it seemed like every player who's been in that organization these last few years just gets hurt. And we seen what Dyson Daniels did his first year outside of New Orleans. Was able to stay healthy, most improved, led the league in steals. So it's something in the water down there. So get Zion out there. We can't have such a talent wasted down there in the Bayou.
Hey, he go to Miami. Like you said, Pat Riley runs the city. Make sure Mariah Mills is not allowed in Miami, and Zion might be fine. Make sure all OnlyFans account members are not allowed at any Heat games, Heat arenas, Heat practice facilities, any restaurants near Miami. Nobody is a part of the apartment complex that he ends up living in.
That's gonna be
None of
hard.
that. And then I think success, all NBA, if they could do that. But outside of that, seems like off the court is what's holding Zion back.
That's a big ask for us for that city.
Yeah. Just like it's a big ask to probably put the fort down. C3P Awards. Starting off with the first award of the Corner 3 Pod Awards. Who do y'all have as your NBA Player of the Year? Jarrett started off.
SGA. I think him with everything he's done over this last year, championship, MVP, scoring title, was I mean, if you go back to 2024, like the season he had then led his national team to what were they Final Four in the Olympics. So just the totality of everything that he's done, yeah, I have him as NBA Player of the Year.
Are you in agreement, Rush?
I know who he's going to say.
Yeah, I get down with Shay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we'll all be and anybody who's watching this, outside of some people that live in Indiana, the WNBA Player of the Year award would go to Asia Wilson.
Paige Beckers. No, I'm joking. Asia Wilson. Definitely Asia Wilson.
Easily. Unanimous.
Yes.
I think this will be interesting right here. And Rush, you could start it off. What would be your play of the year? And that could be NBA, WNBA, college basketball. What would be your play of the year?
Play of the year. Man. Honestly, I need you to cut back to me. Go to go to Jared, or you give me one. I missed this one.
I'll do my pick. The Steph Curry play last season, coming down full court, the clock is running down, goes between two defenders behind the back and does a one-handed floater to beat the buzzer. Yeah, give me that as the play of the year for me. Obviously, that wasn't this season, but we're looking at 2025 in its totality. That would be the play of the year for me. And Bradley Beal played that game, by the way.
You know, without having done a lot of, nothing is really jumping out to me or at me, but I really do enjoy. I think it was this calendar year. The Shaden Sharp dunk against the Wizards.
Oh, come on.
It was last season. And I think it was towards the end of the year. I think it was in the springtime. Where he cocked it. I don't even know who he dunked over, but that was really impressive. The guy, I love a good dunk, and that was as good as they come. Shaden is he's a top 5 dunker in the game today, I think.
For me, I think the play for me would be the Asia Wilson game winner over Alyssa Thomas and DeWine Bonner. I think that's the one play that
Oh
stuck
yeah,
with me
yeah, yeah.
because threads went crazy over that. And they would say like, this is the first time in both leagues' history that a player has hit a game winner over a couple. So it was like, this is out of pocket, but this is so true and funny. So yeah.
And she, correct me if I'm wrong, but she had missed like a couple easy ones, or before had she been? I can't remember. I feel like she had missed a couple of bunnies like right before
I
that.
think she missed like a layup or something like that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then came back and hit the fader. That
Yep.
thing was beautiful too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that lefty jumper is a work of art. So I can't.
Tone, you on mute.
Corner 3 award of the year. This goes to the most ethical hooper that we have seen this year.
Hold up. Hold up. This is what my high school coach used to do. This is the tie. He used to go like this. Like, give me 30 seconds, time. Where did the ethical stuff start? Because I just feel like I just started seeing it, and this is me not being as plugged in as I'm supposed to be. I'll wear it, but like I've seen Ahmad's talking about ethical hoops, and I just need to know: is this a recent thing? Is this recently started being a thing? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's this season.
Because Wimby was talking about how he said Thunder play ethical basketball and another team play ethical basketball and the Knicks don't. And then that's when the Knicks beat them in the NBA Cup.
Oh, okay.
Like right, like literally the game.
Oh, he gave them bulletin board material. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, even before that, though, it's been always the conversation with SGA foul baiting and things of that nature, and they say that he doesn't play ethical hoops. He don't get his buckets ethical.
Which is weird though, because Wimby said that OKC plays ethical basketball. So like, what is it?
It seems to me that we keep trying to find ways to discredit players who are really good that we don't like, and this feels like this smacks of that. But I'll play along for sure. Let's run. I just need a context. I'm sorry.
Who do you feel plays? And like I said, we'll make adjustments to this, and we'll figure out what should be the actual award that is for the corner 3. But staying on theme of what's been the conversation, ethical, and we are Ethical Hoops Talk podcast. Like we're very ethical in how we talk about the game of basketball.
Right.
Who plays the game the right way? You feel? Who comes to mind as exemplifies this is how they should play? This is how basketball should be played.
I like. There's a lot of guys really. He's hurt now, but I mean, Jason Tatum tends to come to mind. Jokic, I think, plays ethically. Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell. I think any NBA superstar is you could consider like the true superstar, like the top tier, top 2 tiers of players. You don't really get in that sort of cream of the crop unless you're playing the game the right way. Water tends to find its level. So I think any superstar you name or any superstar adjacent player you would say is ethical. If I had to pick one, maybe I would just say LeBron. I feel like he epitomizes playing the game the right way, as he's done his whole career. People will come back and say, "Oh, the flop and whatever," but I mean, sure. But I think LeBron plays the game the right way, so he would be my pick. He just also happens to be a Los Angeles Laker.
I was about to say he's definitely at the top of my list, and this year pointed it out where he had the chance to continue his streak, and he passed it up for a game winner that he could have shot that easily.
Yeah.
And can we talk about that for a second? Like, because I've seen people saying, "Oh, he didn't sacrifice his streak. He went 4 for 17." Okay, yes, but he still had an opportunity to shoot for his 10th point, and he passed it off. So I don't understand how that's not, maybe sacrifice is too dramatic of a word, but he forewent the opportunity to try to extend his streak to make the right basketball play so that his team could win a basketball game. So I don't really understand a lot of that chatter. It just seems like we worked really hard to discredit certain players. It's just
Because he
interesting.
could have easily just pulled a Wilt and just missed it on purpose. They go to overtime, he'll definitely get the 2 points right there. But
Yeah.
that's the thing I would have to say that if we gave a title of ethical hoopers for their career, he would have to be on that list because that's been always the talking point for those that are fans and feel Kobe is better than him is that when it's time to maybe shoot that shot to win the game, to tie the game up, he doesn't shoot it enough. Jordan wouldn't have passed it. If we be honest, a lot of the times Jordan shooting that shot was not the best shot. That was not
Jordan
the
had a
right
lot of
way.
Jordan. This is what happens when you consume a player's legacy through YouTube highlights. Jordan had a lot of like 9 for 27, 28 games. Like Jordan was chucking.
Especially during the finals. He had a
I
lot
ain't
of
scared,
crazy shooting games in the finals.
bro.
30
I ain't
shots,
scared.
10 for 30.
I ain't scared to say it. Jordan was out there chucking. All right. Still top 2 player all time, GOAT, whatever you want to say. Dude was chucking. So let's not act like he was out there, always making the right play, like Tom said. My man, he was making the right play in his mind, and I was letting that thing fly. Hey, I want to say all love and respect to Mike Jordan in case I ever run into him on the streets of Charlotte. Let's go get a cigar.
Hey,
but
go
for
ahead.
me, the ethical hooper for me would be Jalen Brunson. I feel like he plays the game the right way. Even though I know people want to say, "Oh, he's a foul baiter" and blah blah blah, but I'm like, I feel like he plays the game the right way.
Hey, I love me some 1A Jalen Brunson. It's just hilarious that you picked him because people, TikTok gonna go crazy on that one.
Oh yeah, I know.
Soon as you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's at least 40 comments right there.
Yeah. But it might be the algo boost we need. Get that rage rate going.
All right, we're gonna end off with this, man. What's been your favorite NBA Threads moment of 2025? Which that might be the hardest question on the list.
That is the hardest question on the list.
I mean, I think for me, this is pretty easy. So I'll go first. I mean, for me, it was just the NBA Cup experience in Vegas, and I can't speak to what it was like on the timeline. Fortunately, everybody couldn't be there. Like I wish y'all could have been there. But for me, just having been sort of here from the jump in 2023, when they just ran that banner ad down on the score table, to having this year having posts on the jumbotron and having the NBA Threads desk and the NBA Threads mic at practice, and like I think it was just an incredible moment for the platform and for the community. It's always tough because not everybody can be there, of course, but hopefully, a lot of the energy that a lot of us felt who were there, we were able to sort of transfer it through the timeline, and y'all were able to feel it as well. But I feel like that was a great moment, probably the best moment so far for me for NBA Threads.
Jarrett, what is it for you, my guy?
I think same thing. Just seeing the type of love that NBA Threads is getting, and even though we all weren't there, I felt a little FOMO behind it, but I felt like you guys did a good enough job of posting and keeping us informed of everything that was going on there. So it was really good to see how the community is growing, and it's really been a pleasure being part of the community.
Yeah, so my main thing, if I would have to add to that, is really just we're seeing the wave of journalists and NBA players, WNBA players, actually hopping on and engaging on there, and actually having Q&As and just having regular conversation on there on Threads. And it seems like little by little, the tide is turning where people are going to start getting off of X, and at least the athletes that we all are fans of, we get to talk to them now. They're accessible on Threads in a sense, versus X, they didn't feel comfortable. They didn't feel safe to be on there. So for me, that's been some of my favorite moments. And I've been able to parlay it into getting some people to talk to them and have interviews and stuff like that. So that wasn't happening on X. That wasn't happening before Thread. So to be able
Can,
to talk to a Rachel Nichols and talk to these people, like I know Jarrett had on my man
Mark
you
Haynes.
interviewed his. You said what?
Mark Haynes.
Yeah, you having
Mm-hmm.
Mark Haynes on, like, that's
Mm-hmm.
huge. Like these things, I can speak for myself. Some of these connections that I've had, and I put it the other day. Some of these connections that I have, and some of these people that I've been able to talk to and interview, and just do threads life with. Been my favorite part. Like it only happened on Threads. I met y'all on Threads.
you
Griff,
spoke
Chris
you spoke to
Lindsay.
Rachel you spoke to Rachel Nichols?
No, I'm talking about in general. I ain't speaking to no Rachel Nichols.
You talk
I'm
about
talking
you
about
Oh,
speaking Rachel
the
Nichols.
community.
I was about to say, yeah, Tone, why you holding out? I ain't know you was talking to Rachel. I'm looking
Nah,
out
I'm
for the
talking.
B. Hey, I'm looking out for the benchmark promo with Rachel Nichols. I thought it was. I
Nah,
thought it was happening.
I'm speaking macro. I'm speaking macro.
Okay, my fault. My bad. That's my fault.
But yeah, man, Threads has been dope. 2026. I don't know what's in store for 2026, but
We know what's in
Can
store.
I
26. We know what's in store.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback off the WNBA love. I feel like at times this past season, WNBA threads, the energy was better than the prior season of NBA threads. Like WNBA threads was rocking. They got the whole cousins thing going, and the way the WNBA players, like you said, are interacting with the people in the community. You got Deidre, you got TJ, Portia, Permbox Z. Obviously, you got Doc, and so many others. Sorry, I try not to name names because I always forget people. But I mean, there's a lot of people over there doing the ethical uh, basketball discourse when it comes to WNBA threads. And I just, somebody who's just an admirer, I dabble in a little bit, but I mean, that community has come a long way. And I think at times it's probably the most vibrant sports community on the app. So I'm looking forward to Unrivaled starting up here pretty soon. And then hopefully, the two sides can work something out and we get a WNBA season this summer again. But shout out to the WNBA threads community.
yeah, y'all need to go get that done, Kathy. Get that done. Sign those negotiations. Treat those women as if they are your partners and not your slaves. But that's a whole another separate episode. Maybe we'll have somebody on next year, that is well versed in the negotiations to break it down for us on the episode. Well, no, you shall see in 2026. Corner 3 got a lot coming in store, but you already know how it is on the Corner 3 because the best 3 is the Corner 3. We out. Peace.